Creative Mornings here in Trondheim. So excited to see the space fill up once more. It's always exciting to see how many shows up. If you want to share some pictures, please use our hashtags CMCourage and CMTRD. We have a great event planned for you here today. I hope you enjoyed the breakfast. It's kind of amazing, right? Yes. So I wanted to just sit back, that's why I'm sitting too, just relax and just have a good time. My name is Catherine. I'm the host and founder of Creative Mornings Trondheim. I'm a designer by trade and a consultant for hire, specialized in brand strategy. I've been working in the advertising industry for almost 18 years, and I've been self-employed for the last 10. And events like this has been hugely important for me over the years. And when I moved back from Oslo, I worked there for nearly 12 years. I felt a place like this for my people was missing here. I went to a lot of events and technology is like all over the place here in Trondheim. And I just felt kind of left out because I don't have a master's degree. I've only been playing with colors and fonts and drawing since I was a kid. And I never found my tribe. So here we are. Yay! I'm applauding to myself. So what is Creative Mornings really all about? There's no better person to answer that question than Mama Bear herself. And she actually calls herself that in all her emails. It's very cute. This is Tina. She's the CEO and founder of Creative Mornings, and we're going to listen to her for a few minutes.
My name is Tina Rotheisenberg. I'm a Swiss designer from New York. I grew up in Switzerland, but now run several businesses out of Dumbo, Brooklyn. One of them being Creative Mornings, a lecture series for creative types all around the world. Creative Mornings was, in some sense, a response to attending a lot of conferences. I've attended a lot of design conferences either as speaker or as press. I run a blog where I get invited to cover it. And I realized that the main reason why we meet up or why we go to conferences is because we want to meet up with our like-minded folks, with me now in the design community. And I figured it's a shame that this only happens like once a year or twice a year, depending on how many conferences you go to. And they're time consuming, they're not very accessible for everyone. So I figured there should be something in my city for like-minded people to meet up. Every month we have a theme, and every host in every city picks a speaker on that theme. So at the end of the month, you have a video archive with talks that sort of talk on one theme. It's like a global conversation with all these chapters.
How much of your day is spent working to get better clients versus pleasing the clients?
So now we have a problem on our hands, and we can fix it.
If I only had a little bit of extra time, I'm spending so much of my time in my day working for these clients and other people that I don't always have time for the things that I want to do.
Or am I not happy because I really wanted to do something bigger and I'm not doing it?
And while I hate the term movement, I really think this has turned into a little small, movement of our creative industry.
So it was about time we got it in Trondheim as well. It's been 10 years since we started. This month's theme is Courage, and it was illustrated by Annie Wong. The themes is chosen by chapters when they signed on. I think that Oakland is chapter number 70, and we are chapter number 178. So it's about 8 years until it's our turn. So stick around. We'll have enough time to think what we want to share. These events would not be possible without the global partners. WordPress.com is our official partner for web publishing. And we are experiencing a slow shift, yet steady, of the internet. And from new technology to agreements, the platforms that we currently rely on may not be around forever. So Creative Mornings and WordPress.com is launching a 12 weeks interview series. And there's one interview launched every week, so you can watch it on your content.wordpress.com. MailChimp.com is our official partner for communications. And what's really awesome is that we can send campaigns from our phones. All the letters that you receive from me is made on my phone and sent from bed very early in the morning. It's a real time server. I'm really happy about this one. And Adobe is our official partner for creative tools. And I guess in this room, it doesn't need an introduction. Creative Mornings by the numbers. We are 183 cities, chapters in 65 countries, and almost over 20,000 attend our events every month. And if you go to creativemornings.com, there's more than 5,000 talks online. And one of my favorites is from Jessica Hirsch, my favorite illustrator. And just watch her talk. You can search for wherever on the website, and you will pay gladly for fonts like the rest of your life afterwards. It takes like 2 to 3 years to create a font, and it's so easy to just, damn, I have to pay. But there's so much inspiration up on the site. Just go and watch it. So as you can see, we're 183 chapters altogether, and we're 178. So yeah, there's been a few, to say at least. We're going to start a new tradition here today. We're going to read the manifesto. That's something all the chapters do before their events. And first out is Ingrid. She's a musician and a project manager at Bennett. So come up on the stage, give Ingrid an applause.
So good morning, and well, everyone is creative. I love that sentence. And a creative life requires bravery and action, honesty and hard work. And we are here to support you, celebrate with you, and encourage you to make the things you love. We believe in the power of community. We believe in giving a damn. We believe in face-to-face connections, in learning from others, in hugs and high fives. We bring together people who are driven by passion and purpose, confident that they will inspire one another and inspire change in neighborhoods and cities around the world. And everyone is welcome. Thank you.
Next up is Kyle. He's gonna say a few words about the topic this month, courage, and also introduce our speaker.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kyle McClenahan. It is my pleasure to introduce today's topic, courage. But what really is courage? I'm going to try to answer that by telling the story of Sisyphus. In Greek mythology, Sisyphus, the deceitful king, tried to defy death, and in doing so was banished, cast down to roll a boulder up a mountain for eternity. The myth of Sisyphus has come to represent the seeming futility in all of life's struggles. Why love when we break our own hearts and the hearts of others? Why hope when it may seem that all hope is lost? Why persevere when in the end we all return to zero? Sisyphus pushes his boulder because in doing so, it is the one way with which he may express his freedom. Pushing his boulder, it is the one way in which he may rebel against the state he finds himself in. To quote from the book, The Myth of Sisyphus by Albert Camus, "It is during that return, that pause, that Sisyphus interests me. A face that toils so close to stone is stone itself. I see that man going back down with a heavy yet measured step toward the torment of that which he will know no end. That hour, like a breathing space, which returns as surely as his suffering. That is the hour of consciousness. At each of those moments when he leaves the heights and gradually sinks towards the lair of the gods, he is superior to his fate. He is stronger than his rock." The truth is, with courage, that nothing can last and no victory is final. Courage is, at its most basic, the decision to live courageously. Acknowledging the truth of who you are, the truth of the world, will empower you to conquer it. Taking the first step, however small, is your central act of rebellion against the fears and struggles we all face in life. So be courageous. Choose love in the face of pain and disenchantment. Nurture hope in your heart despite the odds, and persevere knowing that which you fight for. Make your decision one step at a time, one day after the other, and live your courage. Our speaker today is someone I'm very proud to introduce. He is the Chief Marketing Officer of Dogu AS in Trondheim, a graduate of UC Berkeley and Stanford Ignite, a Marine veteran, and has worked in international disaster response, on humanitarian missions, and on Wall Street. It is my honor to introduce to you Mr. David Smith.
Thanks, Hal. Good morning. Who's ready to be inspired? Come on, everybody put your hands in the air. I hope you're here for a reason today, right? Who has the courage to show when they're feeling inspired? All right, I want a little bit audience interaction. I want to see that everyone's feeling the motivation this Friday morning. So, in the military, we have a saying that every good story must start the same way. So no shit, there I was, on the rooftop of a burning building, in a city far away from the resources that we needed and surrounded by insurgents. Long story short, on this particular evening, we had gotten a call to go into a place that had not seen U.S. troops in the entire time that we'd been in Iraq. This was early 2004 in August. And the militia were fighting for control of the city, right? So the U.S. forces come in, the balance of power is completely kind of knocked off, and the militia wants to prove we're here, we run this city. And so we had been fighting them pretty much nonstop for the entire month so far in a place called Najaf. It was a really big battle. And on one particular evening, they went into the local police station in a place called Kufa. They captured and murdered all of the police officers there. They took their weapons and their uniforms, and then they were pretending to be police officers, and they were attacking local Iraqi civilians throughout the city. So, we get a call. Raider 6, this is chaos, stand by for warning order. Roger, send it. What they needed us to do is go into this city, which is basically a hornet's nest of bad guys, and to take back the police station, restore order, and protect the local populace, which we've sworn to stay and protect. Minor problem is that, as I said, no troops have been in this city, and it's a very, very dangerous place to go. We load up in armored vehicles, we drive towards the objective. We're about 2 miles, 3 kilometers away from the objective still. We begin to take heavy machine gun fire, improvised explosive devices, and rockets on armored vehicles. So these guys are serious. As we push closer and closer towards the objective, the fire becomes more and more intense. By the time we finally reach the target building, I'm in the back of one of these armored vehicles, the ramp drops, we run out, and immediately, as a young Marine, I get separated from my team, I run the wrong direction, I trip, I fall on my face, everything is going to disaster. I'm like, oh shoot, where's everybody at? My team is stacked on the door of this police station to go in, breach the police station, and clear it. So already my heart is pumping, I'm already kind of messing stuff up, and I'm like, okay, get it together. We breach the door on this police station. We begin to push down the initial hallway. Part of the first squad sees a doorway on the right, so they follow it, and it leads down to a basement. In this basement, they found over 30 enemy combatants. Luckily, they were asleep and unarmed, so they managed to capture them without a struggle. However, as my team pushed down the hallway, there was a stairway in the middle courtyard. My lieutenant grabbed me and said, Smith, take your machine gun, go up there with a couple of other team members and provide rooftop security until we can extract from this building. I said, sir, there's a couple of rooms in the back of this building that haven't been cleared yet because I'm on the point and we see them there. He said, no, go up to the rooftop. I said, okay. We go up to the rooftop, set in our position, And within about a minute of being on this rooftop, it looks like Star Wars. Like bullets are just flying towards us. It's crazy. I'm like, okay, this is kind of intense. Long story short, what happened is the entire city came out and was beginning to surround our building. We're on the rooftop. The guys who are in the hallway below are now beginning to take rifle and machine gun fire towards the hallway. By the way, if you're in a hallway and taking rifle and machine gun fire, you don't have a whole lot of place to move, right? So they're in a bad situation. We're in a bad situation on the top. We can see hostile enemy forces who are surrounding the building now and beginning to attack and come in, right? So we start to drop grenades down to prevent them from entering the building. The first grenade goes off, and it is the loudest thing that I've ever heard in my life. It's this, I mean, I've heard grenades before, but it was really loud. It broke all of the windows, and my ears were ringing, and I was like, wow, okay, great. They drop a second grenade. What we didn't realize is that second grenade hit the electrical unit and started a fire inside the building. And as I said, my team is on the roof. So we're up here on the rooftop of this building. Enemy fighters are literally covering the ground in front of us. It's a pretty heavy firefight. And I set my machine gun up and I'm beginning to engage targets as they appear. But there's a small problem. A couple evenings before, while clearing rooms, I have what's called a SAW. It's a squad automatic weapon, a light machine gun, belt fed, weighs like 20 pounds. It's pretty big. When you're clearing rooms with this weapon, it's very difficult to get it up quickly and engage targets. And if you're kicking down doors and you don't know what's behind that door, it's a bit of a struggle. I have a night vision scope which I can mount on this weapon. This particular evening, since we were supposed to be clearing inside the building, I didn't mount my night vision scope. So here we are, I'm on top of this building. I'm engaging targets as they're rushing towards us so that I can protect the Marines that are inside the building with me. I see a group of targets move down an alleyway towards us. I turn and I engage that group of targets. And then I hear, friendly fire, blue on blue. My heart stopped. That is the last thing that you ever want to hear. All right? To know that you've just injured a fellow Marine is the worst feeling in the world. My heart sank instantly, and I felt absolutely hopeless. As I said, without my night vision scope, I failed to identify that these were Marines who were on the streets surrounding our building, providing blocking. So what we do is when we hit a target, we block the surrounding streets so that we can ensure that lots of bad guys aren't coming towards us. But there were so many people in this city that they had to collapse into our position so that we could all be in one tighter perimeter and get a quicker extract as soon as the mission was ready to roll on to the next stage. Needless to say, I was broken from that moment. And I did something that is, in many ways, a sign of weakness. I put down my weapon. I put it down. I didn't want to fire my gun anymore. And we're still trapped. We're still surrounded. Long story short, we come down from the roof. The entire building is on fire. As you can see, this room that we're coming out of was completely engulfed in flames. My team leader was in front of me. He's coughing on smoke, can't really see in front of him, slips and falls on broken glass, cuts up his arms. I grab him by the back of his armored vest. I pick him up, push him through the room. And this is the photo. I am the second from the right behind the guy with this rocket on his back as we're running out of this room. So long story short, that was a bad night, and it affected me in a profound way. Just in case you're wondering, this is how we had to get out of there. This is an AC-130 gunship, and that is clearing a path for us so that this is how serious it was. We had to call in air to get out. These are the armored vehicles here in the lower right-hand corner that we're going to load up in and leave. And now keep in mind, we had just enough armored vehicles to get us there, and now we picked up 30 enemy combatants who we have to take care of and get out. So we load up in the armored vehicles, get hit by a couple explosions on the way out. It was a mess. This continued throughout the month of August. I mean, we were doing this night after night after night after night after night. I didn't have a lot of time to process the difficult situation that I'd just been through, okay? I didn't have time. I felt like the platoon, so the guy that I accidentally shot, his name is Will Stevens. I shot him, bullet hit him in the foot actually. He had to be medevaced to San Diego. He had part of his foot amputated. So I felt terrible about this. I lost contact with Will for some years, and it was a very rough situation. All of this over time that I failed to address in the way that I should have had a profound effect on me. In 2010, I was in a bar in Manhattan Beach with a friend of mine. His name was Ben, and this guy walks up. This guy's name is Clay Hunt. Clay came up to me and started talking. He said, "Oh, you guys are Marines." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Oh, I went to School of Infantry with you." He points to my friend Ben, and Ben says, "Oh yeah, I remember you." So instantly, Clay and I become close friends. I was living in Los Angeles at the time. I'd been out of the military now for about 2 or 3 years. I didn't have any friends in the area. Clay and I became best friends, mountain biking all the time, doing stuff all the time. This is where we're really going to begin to talk about the idea of courage. Courage, in one aspect, is it means that you are willing to allow yourself to be vulnerable and to overcome that vulnerability in order to achieve a better state of life. Clay told me, "Hey, I was in Iraq, I was shot, I was also in Afghanistan as a sniper, I've been through a lot of stuff. I'm going to the local veterans organization, I'm seeking help, I'm seeking counseling." And I was like, well, that's dumb. Why would anybody do that, right? Why would anybody want to dig up that stuff and talk about it again? I don't want to talk about any of that. So instead, Clay got me talking to him. I told Clay things from Iraq that I've never talked to anyone else before about in life. And over time, what I realized is having the courage to talk about the difficult things that were eating me up allowed me to be a much better person. It freed me. There were a lot of tears. There were a lot of hard nights. But all in all, having the courage to face the problems that were affecting me profoundly impacted my life. So Clay and I had a lot of these chats together. He was also struggling. In March, almost this exact same time in 2011, I was laying in bed one night. I worked the graveyard shift for an oil company. And I found out that Clay had killed himself. Despite helping myself, despite working to help himself, there were things that Clay was unable to overcome, and he committed suicide. And I cried for days straight, literally days. Flew down to Texas to be there with him and his family at the funeral. And just as I was on my way up out of this defeated, heartbroken place where I'd been from stuff that happened in Iraq, I found out my best friend killed himself. And that's, again, hurt a lot. I struggled with this very, very much over the course of the year. I was going to the counseling appointments, but I was absolutely numb, detached, disassociated, and heartbroken as a human being. So, in March of 2012, I ultimately found myself in the bedroom of my college apartment staring down the barrel of a shotgun. I thought about Clay. I thought about, what does it really mean to have courage? Is this really what I want to do? How many other people does this affect? How many people does this hurt? Does it solve anything? No. So again, I had to be vulnerable. I had to drag myself out of a place that was very painful, and I had to reinsert myself into, okay, I'm going to fix this. I'm going to overcome these problems and these obstacles. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get my life on track and to be the man that I am meant to be. So through various organizations, I began to get counseling. I began to speak on veterans topics, and ultimately made a new friend. Oops. This guy here. President Bush runs a veterans initiative out of Dallas, Texas now. It's what he spends the majority of his time on now that he's left office. the goal of the initiative is to help veterans find a smooth transition once they leave the military. I've become very, very involved with it, and a huge part of my goal now in life is to help others have the courage to face their fears, their problems in life, and whatever it is that's haunting them. Combat is a very, very difficult thing to do. It's difficult to be in those situations. Combat is different for everyone for a wide variety of different reasons. It affects everyone differently. However, whether it's combat or you were in a car accident or something else happened to you in life or whatever it happens to be, you need to take those life experiences and you need to have the courage to face them, to seek the proper help that you need to overcome obstacles, and then to move on with life, right? None of us are here so that we can be dragged down by the things that happen to us. Bad things happen to everyone. Everyone, and I'm not minimalizing what happens to us in life, but one of the key things that I want to get across is that it takes courage to seek help. It really takes courage to seek help, whether that's for yourself or talking to a friend or anyone else who needs help in their life. It takes courage. And I strongly, highly ask that each of you either seek the help you need when you need it or be there as a friend to help others when they need it. In 2015, I moved here to be with my now wife. I landed in Norway, no network, no idea how to land a job, no idea at all what I was going to do to make it work. But I had made a choice. I was going to stay here, I was going to be here so that I could marry my girlfriend at the time, who is now my wife, and make a life for myself. That took a lot of courage to leave the US, to pack up and just come here. However, I didn't do it alone. So a next key point that I want to make is that courage isn't you. Courage is an entire community. Entire communities come together to help people overcome vulnerabilities, right? And that's what happened for me. When I came to Norway, I started to meet people. I started to ask for help. I started to ask, how can I land a job here? What can I do? And over time, I managed to end up in Rotheisenberg, which was very helpful, and land a job. Yeah, but I had to have the courage to talk to reporters, to ask, to figure out what can I do, how do I make this work? And I also had to know exactly in life, what do I want? What do I want out of this life? What am I willing to work for? What am I willing to sacrifice for? And why? And once I figure that out, what steps do I need to take in order to make it possible? And once I start to figure out what those steps are, the next step is I need to take action. I need to make something happen, right? And so in any stage of life, that's what you need to do. You need to figure out, what is my purpose? How do I achieve this? And then you need to take committed actions to make it work. All right. I keep sliding the wrong way. As I said, in August of last year, Katrina and I were married. Katrina's sitting here in the front. Hey, wifey. This was a big thing for me. After serving in the military, after being through some very, very difficult situations, I was in many ways closed down to the idea of love, relationships. Nah, you don't need that. Oh, love, you'll just get your heart broken. Remember when I said that courage takes a community? Katrina never gave up on me. Never. Trust me, I tried to weasel my way out of a relationship a few times. She, in this instance, knew exactly what she wanted. She knew what steps she had to take in order to make it possible. And then she took clearly defined actions. Okay, you're here, I want you to stay here, I want you to find a job. She never gave up on me. I struggled a lot with a lot of different things from time to time. And Katrina had the courage to help me along the path and had the courage to know exactly what she wanted out of this life. And to show me that love is not so scary. Love is not that scary. Actually, love is awesome. Who thinks love is awesome? Love is great, right? There are, of course, reasons to be afraid of love, but you don't need to be. So as I said, my story being trapped on the rooftop of a burning building and this other stuff, I failed in a lot of places of courage. But where I found courage came from other people. Came from Clay, came from Katrina, came from the community here in Trondheim when I moved here and needed help. I've found courage from many other people. So to me, it's very interesting that I'm the one who's up here on a stage giving a talk on courage. What I want everyone to understand is that to each of you, you may not feel like this big, bold, courageous person, but you never know what you mean to the lives of other people, the impact that you have on them. I finally got it right. Last year, President Bush wrote a book called Portraits of Courage. He painted a number of veterans, and he wrote stories about our transition from the military, coming home. I'm not up here to, sell the book or get into the book a lot, but I found this photo very interesting after I was allowed to come up here and give a talk on courage, because I was recently featured in this book, and I think that courage is something that as communities we need to look into a lot more. There are a ton of things in life that we each face that are difficult. And as we face obstacles, it's always important to understand that rather than buttoning up in your own little shell and saying, oh no, I can fix this myself or whatever, courage is vulnerability. Courage is asking for help. Courage is believing that the impossible is possible. Courage is believing that, yes, I can fall in love and it won't result in me getting my heart broken. Yes, I understand that love is a lot of work, but I'm willing to do that work because I know my purpose and I know what I am working towards in this life. So, the last part that I want to end with is that every single person here in this room is here for a reason. We're all here together on this big spinning rock. All of us have a deep purpose in life. And I can pretty much guarantee you that that purpose is not to have a huge bank account or to have some fancy job title or all of these other things that we tend to get caught up with in day-to-day life. Our purpose, and everyone needs to find their own, but I would suggest that everyone's purpose is to make life better for someone else. So for everyone here today, maybe you want to start a business, maybe you want to become a teacher, maybe you want to create a project that helps other people, maybe you want to volunteer more, maybe you want to provide mentorship to other people in the community. What's your purpose? What's the reason that you are here? What can you do in life? Because tied to purpose is courage, and I'm going to explain very briefly why. To say that I have a purpose takes courage. To say I am here for this reason takes courage. To understand that in the pursuit of what I have as my stated purpose in life, I'm probably going to fail a lot in making it happen. And every single time that I get knocked down, I am going to have to pick myself up, brush myself off, and keep moving forward. And I'm going to need the community to help drag me out of the mud from time to time. And I'm going to need the courage to ask for help when I need it. And even along the path, as I work towards my sense of purpose, whatever it is that I am here in this life to achieve, I'm going to continuously need the courage to work towards it. I'm going to need the courage to believe in it. And I'm going to need the courage to inspire other people as well so that they can achieve their purpose. That's my goal for every single one of you, is that today, as a result of the talk that I've given, that you find the courage within yourselves to help someone else find their purpose. Because that's really what courage is all about. Thank you.
No, I'm not going to sing. We're going to have a few minutes of Q&A. Does anyone want to start? I know it's a bit frightening, but does anyone have a question for Dave? Don't be shy.
Everybody go like this first.
I know Kyle has a question.
When you were just coming back from your tours abroad as a Marine, can you tell us what it was like when you were unable to live your courage? What did that look like for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it comes in different stages because as this big bad U.S. Marine, right, coming home, you never want to admit, yes, I was scared in combat. Yes, I made mistakes. Yes, there were times when I was literally terrified. You know, that happens. I've been in situations where I was very scared, but I'm not allowed to admit that I was scared. We don't do that. We don't admit weakness. That's not in our warrior DNA, right? And that really poses major problems because then you look at yourself in life as someone who is invincible, made of stone or iron or whatever. And in order to make that invincible possible, you have to emotionally shut yourself down in a lot of ways. Because if I'm this big bad dude and I'm invincible, then I can't be emotionally hurt, so I can't be bothered with messing with this love stuff, right? Because what if I get my heart broken and it proves I'm not this big bad person that I thought I was, right? So one of the biggest problems that I faced was, as a person, this, I think that everyone does it from time to time, but this persona that I wanted other people to think of. Oh yeah, he just returned from Iraq. He's must be so hard, strong, and courageous, and brave, and all this stuff. You know, yeah, I want to keep that up. I don't want to tell people the truth that I was scared out of my mind, that I accidentally shot a U.S. Marine, that all kinds of things affected me over there. So I think that the most important thing is to really take the time to understand yourself, take a deep, deep dive into yourself. And as I said, sort yourself first, get the help you need, find community, and then once you've done that, find your purpose and start mentoring other people along the way.
Anyone else?
I can talk very loudly. Is that okay?
Yeah.
It's totally okay.
Yeah. Do you have any current project of courageousness that you're working on with yourself right now?
I do, actually. Hopefully a few. One of them in particular, my close friend Clay Hunt worked for an organization called Team Rubicon. Team Rubicon was started in 2010. Everyone remember that huge, massive earthquake in Haiti? What happened was Clay and a handful of other friends who were also Marines said, I've just left the military. I have these effective skills, and I'm watching a disaster unfold on TV, and I want to go there and help. They packed bags, they found a flight into the Dominican Republic, somehow got on trucks, got their way into Haiti, and started triaging and helping people there. And what they realized is that military veterans are seeking certain things when they leave the service. They're seeking a sense of purpose, they're seeking camaraderie, and they're seeking a way to continue to use the skills that they've gained from their military service. So now what happens is there's an organization called Team Rubicon. Team Rubicon responds all over the world when large disasters strike. And it's not just military veterans anymore, it's also highly trained civilian professionals if you happen to be a nurse or if you happen to have construction skills or communications equipment skills or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But it combines people who have certain skill sets and puts them where they need to be to help people in the immediate wake after disasters. And Team Rubicon has recently become a global organization. And as of about a month and a half ago, we have a branch of Team Rubicon Norway. And my passion now is that I want to help lead Trondheim. I'm the regional manager for Team Rubicon Trondheim. And I want to help Norwegian military veterans find the same path that I found, of helping other people, of finding a sense of purpose, of finding camaraderie. And so very soon you'll hear a lot more about Team Rubicon, but that is one example of a big sense of purpose that I'm focused on now.
Thank you for joining us. It was amazing. Next up, we're going to have 30-second pitches. The first one is Andrea Rakela. Come on upstairs. Upstairs.
Upstairs. Yes, so I have only 30 seconds. So my name is Andrea, and I'm presenting Trondheim Gatenkunst. It's a non-profit local initiative, and we aim to reinvent the city as a dynamic art space. We are organizing the first street art festival, which will happen in Illa from 20 until 25th of August this summer, and we're gonna bring local, national, and international artists to one space, and so all the work is based on volunteering, and we are constantly looking for partners and sponsors, so please feel free to contact us via website or Facebook page. And of course, you're all welcome to this opening celebration on the 25th of August. Thank you. Was it?
Next up is Bennett. Nils had to leave, so Ingrid is going to take his place.
Thank you. I'm not Nils, but I'm Ingrid, and I work in Bennett's creative agency here in Trondheim. We're Norway's oldest agency, and we have an open position. So that's a chance if you like to be a creative front-end developer. We're about 23 people. We have great system developers, but we need someone, a superhero, that want to make things look really, really smashing out there. So please contact us, Bennett. Thank you.
Next up is Thea.
Hi. Everyone likes restaurant food, right? Yeah. How good would it be to get it delivered where you are? This is a market that has a big potential, an offer that's been missing in Trondheim. Nibbler offers digital solutions where you can get food from the best restaurant delivered to your door. With L-cars and L-bicycles, we deliver both to the private and to the business market. There's always a good reason to use Nibbler. Thank you.
Yes, I'm really happy about that one. I've been saying for a long time to my boyfriend, we have to get better takeout in the city. So thank you, finally. So it's time to wrap the event up. Last time I held a really long thank you speech. I'm going to keep it short and sweet this time. I want you all to know that this event would not be possible without a lot of yes people all over the city. I'm really fortunate because when I started, I was like, oh, what am I going to do? Where am I going to start? But everyone that I've asked said yes. Like Bennett, they supported the breakfast. Grafil gave us money to have us start when we at our last event. Diggs is supporting us with this event, Diggs and Habitat. Jacobsen Sword has been there twice. It's the best coffee in town. When I applied for CreativeMornings, I said I wanted Lunsjkollektivet and I wanted Jacobsen Sword, and I was keeping my fingers crossed because I didn't know, but they said yes. They wanted to join in immediately. And Blink, I want everyone to know that a print shop is not a print shop. It's all about service, delivering on time, and quality. And as I said, I've been working with this for a long time, and I would not ask sponsors that I really love, and I've been working with Blink for a long time, and it's yes people all over, so please don't hesitate to reach out to them. A special thank you to our breakfast sponsor, Bennett, Reklamebyrå, advertising creative agency. They supported the great breakfast from Lunsjkollektivet, so give them a big round of applause, thank you. And last but not least, these amazing volunteers, they donate their time. None of us get paid. We do this because we really love what we do. So don't forget to give them a hug or a high five when they leave. Next event. Oh my God. I really have to keep my notes on this one because I don't want to get it wrong. Next speaker up, he's Christian Budde Christensen, and our next global theme is going to be game. And Christian was chosen a while back, and 3 days ago, the news broke that South Korea said that North might be willing to talk at least about giving up their atomic arsenal. And last night at 1 a.m., Trump announced that they are going to talk. So it's a huge deal. And the topic is smoking hot. And the next time, at the last Friday in April, same time, same place, we're going to hear Christian talk about his trip with his brother last September in North Korea. And I was making a joke, let's hope that North Korea doesn't start World War until next time. But this is something you do not want to miss out on. And I know I keep on saying that every time, but this is what I'm hoping for, to say that you have to come because this is going to be a special one. And that is my mission with Creative Mornings, is to find real people and tell real stories. So come back Friday, April 27th for wasting time in North Korea. Don't forget to fill out your feedback cards. That means a lot to us. And with that, I say thank you and goodbye.